Hi, everyone. So today's topic is ego and is it stopping you from achieving in business? So everyone has ego at different levels. And ego has some really positive aspects in business as well as some really negative aspects in business. So let's look at some of the positive ways that ego shows up in business. So most entrepreneurs will have a higher level of ego than non-entrepreneurs. Why? Because entrepreneurs have a really strong sense of self-belief and confidence. And they need to have that to be able to convince others of their business ideas and also to be able to overcome skepticism. Ego can really help drive resilience and help push through challenges. And a healthy ego helps entrepreneurs actually inspire and lead teams, but also gives you the confidence to make bold decisions that others with less ego will shy away from. So that's why I said ego can have a really big determining factor in achieving some really big goals if it's healthy. But what happens when ego starts to get in the way? So hi, my name is Joanne. I'm an accountant with 30 years of experience, not just in public practice, but also in the corporate sector. But one thing that I've learned is in all the years of me working as an accountant, I have mentored hundreds of businesses. And you get to see what works and what doesn't. And I get to see how ego shows up in good ways and in really bad ways. And it can actually have such a negative impact on your business that it can actually literally destroy your business. So let's explore some of the ways that ego shows up. So one is an inability to delegate. Why do we do this? Because we don't believe anyone else can do the task as well as we can. We've all heard that typical dialogue. If I want something done right, I have to do it myself. So what happens is when we have an inability to delegate, we end up micromanaging, or we end up just totally overwhelming ourselves with too much work that we could be getting others to do. When you micromanage, you're micromanaging your employees' work. And all that's going to do is upset your employees and literally feed into a negative workplace. But the other thing that happens is when we fail to delegate, is we're so caught up in doing all this additional work that we don't need to be doing, that we end up missing out on opportunities to grow our business. And we also have the risk of burnout. So delegation is a really important aspect of being able to grow your business. The other way that ego shows up is with a resistance to feedback. Now, nobody likes being told that their ideas are not totally brilliant, of course, but listening to feedback is just that. It is feedback. When ego shows up in that, it means that we think that the feedback we're getting is personal criticism about ourselves or about our work. And that's not what it's about. I personally don't like the word failure because I like calling everything feedback, because when things are not working, it is generally our outside external environment giving us feedback to say that they're not working. Something we're doing isn't right. We need to be able to take that feedback on board. We need to be able to see why, and we need to be able to change our strategy, because we all know in business, you have to be able to adapt. And resistance to feedback can put a really big block on that. A great example I have of this, we had a client about 18 months ago, a startup wanting to go out to capital raise. And because we actually get quite involved in capital raising with our clients as well, she sent us through her pitch deck. So we had a look at this because we deal with a lot of investors. We know what they look for in a pitch deck. So we came back with some feedback saying you need to change these. Some of the things weren't quite right. She took that very personally, got very grumpy at us. Refused to make any of the changes, trying to justify why they need to stay the way they are, failing to recognise that just because she likes it, at the end of the day, she needs to attract the investors, not the other way around. So she failed to take on that feedback, never made any of the changes we recommended, and guess what? 18 months later, she's exactly where she was with still no investors. So too many times ego stops from adapting because we think we know what's right and it's everyone else who doesn't understand. Ignoring feedback could actually cause your business to fail. The other way ego shows up is a fear of failure. So a fear of failure is actually a direct result of ego. Why? Because nobody wants to admit that they failed because they're scared of what others are going to think. So another way our fear of failure stifles our business is also when things are not working, Our fear of failure prevents us from asking for help because we don't want others to think that we're not capable of doing this ourselves, that we're less than perfect. It takes a really brave person to recognise when they're out of their depths and to ask for help. Again, I've seen so many businesses where the founders are out of their depths, things aren't working. Instead of asking for help, saying, can we help work out what's going on and how to fix it? They battle and struggle in silence for months on end until it gets to the point where things are so bad that they are forced to reach out for help. And generally by that stage, it's too late. The time's passed where we could have fixed things. 90% of businesses never make it to the 5-year mark for many reasons, but ego definitely plays a huge role in that statistic. The fact is, every business has the ability to be successful. So you need to ask yourself this: are you letting your ego get in the way of achieving? Are things not quite right? Are you struggling in areas? Are you not asking for that help? If you liked today's video, please follow the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.